Okay, so are we ready to go on the record?
Ready, Your Honor.
Okay, we are going on the record as a matter of David Sims versus Coriana Daniels, 23601. And counsel, your appearance, please.
Ronald Ruark, Your Honor, on behalf of the plaintiff.
Okay, and Ms. Daniels, your name, please.
Coriana Daniels.
Okay, is she being picked up on there?
Yeah.
Okay, so ma'am, I'm just going to remind you to be as loud as you can, okay? And just if you're moving papers around, just watch you don't hit that because you're going to kill Tanja's ears. Oh, okay. All right, and so today's the date for the bench trial in this matter because there, Mr. Sims, I'm just going to summarize for a moment. Mr. Sims owns the condo and Ms. Daniels was residing there as well with her children. Ms. Daniels has claimed that she paid a year in full and Mr. Sims wants Ms. Daniels out.
Correct.
That's a short, sweet
That's correct.
summary. Maybe not so sweet anymore between them, but anyway. So prior to going on the record, the court went through exhibits that are being proposed by both plaintiff and the defendant. And from my understanding, counsel, the following are all stipulated exhibits. Plaintiff's exhibit 1, which is communication from the plumber. The plaintiff exhibit 2, letter from the association dated May 4th of 2023. Plaintiff's exhibit 3, emails from yourself, between yourself and Ms. Daniels dated April 28th and May 15th, and they're on the same page. Is that correct so far?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, do you agree with that so far, Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have stipulated exhibits, and counsel, I understand you may have objections you indicated regarding hearsay purposes or relevancy, but for the purpose of the hearings for this, you would stipulate it to the admission of the following. Defense exhibit A, which is a breach of contract notice dated January 4th of 2023. Defense exhibit B, notarized proof of contract dated October 13th, 2021. Defense exhibit C, a notary statement dated October 13th, 2021. Defense exhibit D, October 11th of 2022, Wyandotte Police Report. Defense exhibit E, October 30th, Wyandotte Police Report. Both of those exhibits consist of 3 pages each. Defense exhibit F, video dated October 19th of 2022. And defense exhibit G, video dated December 12th of 2022. Is that accurate so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rourke, is that accurate?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay. And I understand that the video is on Ms. Daniels' phone, so we'll have to figure out how that's going to occur. All right, so the first question I'm going to do, I'm going to try to focus in a little bit. Last week when everybody was on Zoom, there was discussion about whether or not there was actual payment made for the year in advance. Counsel, you had indicated you had asked Ms. Daniels for that proof. Ms. Daniels indicated she had sent it to you. You had not received it. So what is the status of that?
She sent me some DHS statements, I believe, but nothing in those statements indicated any payment. My client will testify he's received no payment from any time.
Okay.
We oppose that.
And none of these exhibits contained those statements?
But none of her exhibits contain anything that shows that there has been any payment of any kind since at least January 2023, but at all other times as well.
Okay.
That's our contention.
Okay. So I'm going to have Mr. Sims, if you can please state your name for the record, please.
David Sims.
No, much louder.
David Sims.
Okay, so Mr. Sims and Ms. Daniels, both please stand up and raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So before we begin, I need to understand the nature of the relationship between the two of you. How did it come to be that Ms. Daniels moved into your condo?
Ms. Daniels, I rented another property, 9576 Grandmont, which was in my home, which was in my name, I'm sorry about that, where she resided for 2 years and failed to pay rent over there also.
Stop. This is not, I don't want a whole history of what's going on. I asked, how did it come to be that Ms. Daniels, please don't interrupt me. How did it come to be that Ms. Daniels moved into your condo?
She was being evicted from that address that I stated, and I said, you can come here for a period of a couple months until you get your taxes and go about your way.
Okay, so you were residing at the condo?
Yes.
And Ms. Daniels and her children moved in?
Yes.
And when was that?
Around December 1st.
Which year?
22, last year.
22.
Yes. The eviction for the other property was they had to be out by December 1st of 22, and there would be nothing applied to my credit for that other property.
Who would be applying credit?
The judgment, I'm saying, from the court. That's what the judge had said. If they were out by December 1st, there would be nothing to show up on my credit regarding that other property of the past due balance and so.
Okay, so you were a co-signer?
It was in my name because she left.
Hold on, sir. Did you own the home?
No, I did not.
Okay,
the home.
so you were the individual whose name was on the lease?
Yeah.
Okay. And Grandma, that's Detroit, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was Miss Daniels' name on the lease for the Grandmont home at all?
No. They didn't ask you for the credit to get approved for that property.
Miss Daniels, is that accurate so far? That's not accurate. Okay, first of all, you're very quiet.
No, ma'am.
What part about that is not accurate?
The part about me failing to pay rent at the house on Grandma. Can I explain?
No.
Oh.
We're gonna, if I let both of you explain, we'll be here for days, okay? You'll be here for days because one thing will lead to another to want me to know this and that. So I'm going to try to ask questions to be a bit more focused. So, were there eviction proceedings for the home on Grandmont?
Yes.
Okay. Was it because there was rent that was past due?
Yes.
Okay. Was the lease in your name or was it in Mr. Sims' name?
Mr. Sims.
Okay. So that is accurate.
That.
Okay. And so then there was a date that you had to relocate by, correct?
Was
Out of the Grandmont home.
it wasn't my home.
Ma'am, I'm not going to play semantics, right? You and the children were living at the home, whether
No,
you were not living at the Grandmont home?
No, that's what I'm trying to explain.
Where were you
That's
living?
not true. We were actually living at 10447 Boucher. He enlisted in that place.
10447 Balfour in
Yeah.
Allen Park?
No, in Detroit. It's on the east side of Detroit.
So there's another home?
Yes.
I have those proceedings.
10447?
Yes, Boucher.
BALFOUR?
Yes, ma'am.
So you just testified that you were being evicted from the home on Grandmont. I asked if there were eviction proceedings.
I'm just answering, you're not letting me
I-
really say too much.
I'm gonna get there, so-
Right now.
So you never lived at the home on Grandmont? You lived at the home on Balfour?
Yes,
Was Mr. Sims' name on that home,
yes,
on that lease?
yes.
And when did you live there?
We lived there from 2020 up until 2022.
And that's when you moved into the condo?
Right,
Who lived at the home on Grandmont?
Mr. Sims. Can I say more?
Just one moment. Did anybody else live there with him?
No, that I'm aware of.
So were there eviction proceedings filed for the home on Balfour?
No, not that I'm aware of.
So why did you move into the Mulberry Street house?
We ended up moving into the Mulberry Street because what happened in between that time was, once we got done with that,
Once you got done with what?
once we got done with the lease on Balfour, he ended up owing me money. And
He owed you money?
Yes, he didn't have the funds to pay, so we did the notary.
Hold on, one moment.
You're fine.
Good, thank you. The lease was in Mr. Sims' name, correct?
Yes,
Did he live there with you? Gordy, you're my way. Gordy.
on Balfour? I know, I was trying to, on Balfour?
Yes.
No. That was just me and the sister.
So you did not have, have you ever gone to court for the home on Balfour?
Yeah, for him, not for me.
What do you mean for him, not for you?
The reason why was, the judge wanted him to put money in escrow. If he didn't want to put money in escrow, so that's why he got evicted out. Now he was trying to come back to the house at 469 after we had already made the deal for me to be able to move in there. He ended up coming and we ended up living together.
Okay, all right, hold on. This is very, very,
I know.
very complex and confusing because something isn't making sense. Mr. Sims,
Yes.
you leased the home on Grandmont.
I leased the home on Grandmont
What dates?
around October of 2020
Okay, until what date?
until December of
22.
should be out December 1 of 22. Okay.
Okay, now tell me about the home on Balfour. You rented that home for the same. Just one moment, please. Let me ask the question before you start answering. We can record one at a time. And when you're talking, when I'm talking, you're not hearing my question and I'm not hearing your answer. So the home on Balfour was around the same time?
No, the home on Landlord was during COVID because she lived there rent-free during COVID. And I did not live at either of these properties. I have resided since 2015 at 469 Mulberry Street. That's been my residence.
Okay.
I bought that property in 2015.
All right, sir. Well, to the best of my recollection, 2020 was COVID.
Well, and lockdown during COVID, ma'am.
I'm aware of that, sir. What I'm trying to find out is that Ms. Daniels testified that she was at the home on Balfour from 2020 to 2022. You testified that she was at the home on Grandmont from October 2020 to December 2022. Then you testified that she was at the home on Balfour during COVID, which was during 2020, which was 2020 through 2021 for sure, if not longer. So that's where something isn't making sense. There's two homes, two leases, and you're living at another home that you own.
Your Honor,
Yes.
she lived at Balfour for 1 year and I was evicted from that property during COVID thing. Then I found this other home on Grandmont, which she has again resided at. I never resided at. Nothing, period. My property has always been here in Wyandotte. So again, more misconstrued.
Okay. So, did you move from the home on Balfour to Grandmont? Is that
I've
no?
never lived at the house on Grandma. The only reason why I'm involved in court proceedings for Grandma is because his daughter left. Somebody got sick, she left, she couldn't help him anymore, so I started having to
No, ma'am,
drive.
you were residing at the home, so you would be listed as all other occupants.
No, not at 10447 Boucher. After that, we went to 469 Mulberry. You see what I'm saying? I didn't
No.
stop at Grandma.
Was there ever a court proceeding regarding the Belfry house, the Belfry address?
No, not that I'm aware of, no.
Only Grandmont?
That is the only one. And with Grandma, I also have those court proceedings recorded where the judge is telling you why he's being evicted out of the home. We had to go visibly in court together because he didn't have anybody to help him. He kept saying he was blind.
Blind?
Yes.
Okay, so you. What doesn't make sense, Ms. Daniels, is that Mr. Sims owns the condo on Mulberry. But you're telling me that he lived on Grandmont and you did not?
No, he was in the process of doing repairs to the place. He was trying to downsize because he had surgery in 2020 and it made him where he ended up having to force and retire. So we ended up downsizing and he was working on repairs to the condominium while we were there, but that was supposed to be our year. We had paid, for the year and we allowed him to come and make, necessary repairs if he needed to, but it didn't go that way. Right after December 1st, when we moved in, is when all of this started. And it just came out of the blue because the original court proceedings were October of 2022, where, the judge clearly states, hey, I asked you to pay this money in escrow. You have not done that and you can't choose what you want to do just because repairs aren't made.
Okay.
He was evicted.
Okay. Does anybody have any documentation regarding a lease for the home on Grandmont?
I have a recording from the judge.
On Grandmont, I'm not sure. There is no lease for Mulberry.
I understand that, but so I'm trying,
There is a lease for Mulberry.
There's no lease from Mulberry because she never had a lease, she never paid rent.
just one moment. We can't even get off of jump yet because nobody can even agree as to who lived where.
May I say something, Your Honor? May I say something?
Yes, please.
Number one, so for the court's information, Mr. Sims had suffered a stroke a year ago, was visually impaired,
Okay,
and at times he gets a bit confused. I think it's uncontested that since December of 2022, they lived on Mulberry.
okay.
Okay, what happened beforehand, I'm not real sure. This is about Mulberry.
They're not even real sure what happened beforehand. So now I understand it's about Mulberry Council, but I'm also trying to understand the relationship and how they came to be at the same property and whether there was some type of dating relationship, just some type of friendship, some type of business, I don't know. So I'm trying to understand that also before we move forward so that I have an understanding.
Understood.
So I don't even know if we're gonna get that to be an agreement between them.
Honestly, I can give it honest, uncut and dry.
Okay,
It's my sugar daddy. That's just as simple as it is.
okay, well,
Your Honor, I believe that will be stipulated too.
well, we have an agreement on something. Okay. All right, well, there we go. So, and when did that stop? Has it stopped?
2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago. In 2021?
Yep.
Okay,
I'm a baby now.
I'm sorry?
I have a 2-year-old now, so I kind of subjected out of that, and I've been doing my relationship thing with the child's father, and now it's like I'm going through a bunch.
Okay. And so, so that ended in 2021? Is that stipulated to as well?
Yeah, we'll stick with, it's been a couple of years now.
Okay. And so it's, when, ma'am, Ms. Daniels, are you indicating that that you applied for rental assistance with DHS?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, you provided counsel
Um,
with some paperwork regarding rental statements of some sort.
The only lease we got, through DHS, for them to allocate, my food stamps, I have to give them certified documentation that shows where I'm living at the time and how much I'm paying, what is it going
How much you're paying for what?
to live in the residence.
Okay,
It has
so how much are you indicating that you were paying?
$1,250 a month with a $2,500 security deposit, and it stipulates on the landlord verification that no utilities. I don't have to pay, certain utilities that I'm finding myself having to pay now. But it gives you in detail, and he knows about it.
Well, that's great, but I need to know about it. So, okay, so you're claiming that you were paying, because the agreement was you were paying $1,250 per month and you paid a $2,500 security deposit.
Right.
Okay, is that accurate?
No, Your Honor, that's disputed. I've been asking for proof of these payments for at least a couple of
I'm
months.
not asking if she paid them, I'm asking if that was the agreement.
No, it's not the agreement. Your Honor.
No, what was the agreement?
There was no agreement. She's been living there since December or so of last year, and he.
I'm sorry, last year being 2022?
I believe, yes, December 2022. I'm Mulberry. She's been there since then without a lease, without any payments whatsoever.
Ma'am, where were you and Mr. Sims when you had a conversation regarding this rental amount?
It was me, him, and his daughter.
His daughter?
Yep.
What's his daughter's name?
Madison.
Was there ever a conversation, Mr. Sims, where your daughter was present between you and Ms. Daniels? Did you get any answer? Did you get or no? Okay.
Just for the record, of course, whatever lease I believe is in writing, and therefore the statute of frauds would apply.
I understand, counsel. I understand, and I know you're making a record. I'm just trying to determine some credibility as well here between the parties, because, okay, so you moved in December of 2022, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you don't have to raise your hand all the time. I will be
Yes, I
going back and
have it.
forth. I understand. And so you're indicating you paid a $2,500 security deposit.
Yes, ma'am.
Who did you pay that to?
Mr. Sims,
How did you pay it?
in cash.
When?
Out of my taxes, I paid him, not December 1st, but I ended up paying him, I think, a couple weeks after that, because that's how he went out of town.
Out of your taxes?
Yeah.
When who does taxes in December?
Tax shield, I get like $4,000 to $6,000 in advance before everybody else gets theirs. Long as I've never had any offsets on my taxes the previous year, long as I've never had like the government take my taxes for anything or anything like that. You
Okay.
qualify for it early.
But wouldn't that be January?
No, it'd be December. It's considered the holiday advance. Seriously.
Before the year's even over?
Yes, ma'am. They don't give it to you off of what your actual number is gonna be. They give it to you off of what your last year taxes was, along with what your W-2 is that year. That's how they calculate, but it is true. They do it. Not kidding at all. It's tax shield on Grand River, swear to God.
I've never heard of that, but I'm not saying it's not.
It's called the holiday advance though. Some people don't qualify for maybe $4,000 to $6,000. Everybody doesn't get that. It's not like you just come in and get that. Some people can leave out with $100, $200. Some people can leave with $1,000, $500, $2,000, but the max is $6,000.
Okay, and where do you work?
I work at Subway and Taco Bell now.
Okay. Okay, and so, Mr. Sims, are you aware of that?
I have received no money, ma'am. My bank statements will reflect that. And it's funny.
Well, your bank statements will reflect you not depositing
No,
anything.
my
It
bank
doesn't-
statements will reflect that because I was not given any cash, period.
Please let me finish. Your bank statements will reflect that there wasn't a deposit. That's not going to tell me
I
whether,
received $2,500.
please let me finish. That's not going to tell me whether or not you received $2,500. You're saying you didn't, she's saying you did, and clear, and of course it was cash, not anything that would have any sort of tracking mechanism on it.
Your Honor, she does have a receipt for that. We'll be glad to look at that.
I do. That's
You
why-
do?
Yeah, that's why I've been raising my hand. His lawyer, referred that there was nothing in written documentation, and there is. I sent him copies of the.
Okay, let me see that receipt.
Of the verification that he filled out, signing that I gave him the money through DHS.
And is that one of the exhibits?
I believe so. It was.
Okay, where are those exhibits?
And I as well sent it to, Mr. Cross. It outlines and it's dated and signed. It's not in paper. It's. through-
Okay, so. Defendant's Exhibit C reads as follows, dated October 13th, 2021. I, David Sims, owed Shakoriana Daniels $1,500 as of October 14th of 21. He owed you money?
Yes. It
I didn't think that's how that whole relationship kind of works, but.
doesn't. It really
Okay.
doesn't.
David Sims has paid Shakoriana Daniels in full. Signed by David Sims, Shakoriana Daniels, and it looks as though Megan Sims is the witness. Also, if Nina David Sims will sign for a new lease in January 2022 for 1 year only, that's it, that's all. Where was that lease going to be?
Yep, it's in email.
No.
I sent it to.
Where was what property was that lease for?
For 469, the property we're, in court for today. I'm getting ready to, I'm actually gonna pull it up and, I'll let you see it. Mr. Rugg also has a copy and his email is where, as well, it's called a landlord verification. And what it is he has to give a breakdown of who's living in the home, where's the home located, how much I'm paying them, how much I pay for.
Who, you have that document?
Yeah, I sent it to Mr. Rono, that's why.
Did you print that up?
No, it was just sent through email. He asked for the verification last for a date for me to send it.
Did you
I sent
receive
it,
that?
I resent it.
Oh, that's the DHS.
Yep,
I saw the email. I do not have it with me.
Somebody have it printed?
I don't have it printed.
Okay, please email it to the 27DC. That would be extremely helpful. And that's the one document that would be helpful
For the overall.
for both, and nobody has it printed up.
Well, she's looking, Your Honor, may I make a point?
Sure.
This agreement, I believe it's her C, that the court just read into the record, is dated October 2021. I
Yes.
think she's testified that she moved into Mulberry in December of 2022.
You're correct.
I don't see what this has to do with the Mulberry for us.
Okay, after she said that email, we're going to find out.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Okay, I have it here. Your Honor.
You have it there?
Yes.
Okay, 27GC.
Right.
What's that? No, you can, whatever that, it can't, is it a picture or is it an email?
It's an actual picture from the original.
Okay, so then go into share or however you send your pictures. And then she can, the option is send it via email.
Sorry, Your Honor, it's a lot of emails.
Okay. Are you in the share part?
No, right. Oh,
Or you can even just take the email that you sent to Mr. Ruark
I got it now. It took me a minute.
Okay, then, so that's the email you forwarded to Mr. Rourke?
You want me to forward it to him now?
No. What is that? The email that you
Yeah.
forwarded to Mr. Rourke?
Yeah.
So now you can just forward that email to the 27 District Court. So just hit forward.
Okay, I did. What is it?
27DC
27 DC
at Wyandotte,
at Wyandotte,
MI.gov.
MI.gov. Okay, and I'm setting that.
Okay, so we're going to go off the record on this matter while I'm waiting for that. And we have a couple other matters that individuals are patiently waiting on, and then we will recall this matter. David Sims versus Coriana Daniel, 23601. And so, counsel, you've already reviewed this, correct?
I looked at it, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so the court has before it, this is AFC/supported independent living facilities details. This indicates that David Sims is the landlord, has his phone number. Is this a stipulated exhibit? Or are we going to have this as defense exhibit H?
That's no problem.
Is that fine, counsel?
H, that's what she's at, yes.
Okay. Defense exhibit H, so we'll have to mark this, but AFC.
Not to interrupt you, Judge, do you have the?
I'm sorry?
I said not to interrupt you. Do you have the copy where it shows the length of how long that actually lasts?
Well, I'm getting to all that.
Okay.
But my first question is AFC/supported independent living facilities. AFC, I thought was adult foster care, but is the home a CMH, MDHHS supported community living facility contract home? No. Not a nonprofit home. What's the resident's monthly shelter responsibility? $1,250. Does this include utilities? That's circled yes. What utilities are tenants responsible for paying? Heat, electricity are marked. Medical services, NA, uncovered medical expenses, NA. Facility name is not signed there. Shelter details. To be completed by landlord, mortgage company, or land contract holder. Housing information indicates 469 Mulberry, says deposit amount on 8/27 of 22 was $2,500, but it also says 8/27/22 is the move-in date. The resident plan on buying, no. Home free of lead paint or certified to be lead safe, yes. Property owner contact information, David Sims at the address. Okay, that's it. So this doesn't answer any questions,
You only have.
except for what date did you move into the property? December?
Yeah, December 1st is the initial date, but with DHS, I have to tell them in advance. I don't get to tell them the exact date. I have to tell them everything in advance. I have a period, a time frame.
So why are you indicating your move-in date was August 27th of 2022?
Because I didn't have a choice. At that time, I didn't have nowhere to go. I was already out of the old house. I had to have somewhere else to go.
No, you weren't. You didn't move out of the old house until December of 2022.
No, not December of 2022. I never
That's what
gave
your
a date.
testimony was.
No, I told you I lived there for 2 years. I never gave a specific date of when we actually left Balfour.
Yeah. I wrote it down. You said 2020 to 2022.
Yeah, but I never said what month we moved out. That's what I was saying. You just asked me how long were we residing in the home, and we were there for that amount of time, but you never gave me a specific.
Okay,
month.
then
That's
when
what-
did you move out of the Balfour home?
I moved out of the Balfour house in September.
September.
Yeah,
So then why did you indicate your move-in date to Mulberry was August 27th?
because I was supposed to be out by that day. They never came and got the property, so I ended up being able to be there an actual month longer. Waiting on Mr. Sims to wait on his profit sharing to be able to pay me back so that I could move and go to my own residence. I wasn't able to do that. His daughter came down here from Florida and came up with an agreement that she would do all the, you know, looking for the housing and stuff and all of that, and I didn't have to worry about coming. It didn't work that way. Once she left, it became this back and forth thing with us going back and forth between him wanting, you know, me to do what he knows he's supposed to legally be obligated to do, but because he felt like he couldn't get any help, he was extorting me to do it.
Well, hold on a moment. So, and why did you have to fill out this paperwork?
No matter where I live, you have to fill out where you're living. You see what I'm saying? They have to know how much I'm paying a month because that's how they allocate my food stamps.
Okay, but ma'am, this is through adult foster care.
No, it's not. That's the paper they sent out for DHS. If you look at the top heading, it came from my DHS work.
It says it came from MDHHS. It doesn't say it came from your worker.
Oh.
It's something that anybody can get offline.
Oh, I can, see.
It says to be completed by AFC/supported independent living facility. And then the facility name is and the facility representative is supposed to sign here. There isn't anything.
You don't see Mr. Sims' signature at all?
On September 7th of 2022, I see, Mr. Sims, counsel, do you have something, let me see here. It looks like a similar signature.
He tries to do the little scribble.
But ma'am, don't tell me what he tries to do. It appears to be a similar signature for Mr. Sims. You sign this document, sir, so she could send this to her DHS worker? Oh, yes. Just a moment.
Just having a hard time reading it, Your Honor, because of his eyesight.
Just a moment, let me look back.
You can't really read it, Your Honor.
I mean, to find something, Your Honor, I'd be willing to write it. I have a hard time.
No, I'm not asking you to sign something. I'm asking if you did sign something back on 2022, September 7th of 2022. There's a signature with the date of September 7th of 2022.
I can't recollect that, Your Honor.
Ma'am, please stop making those noises. Okay, please stop. Ma'am, where is the proof of the payment that because you're tested? Last week, the allegation was you paid for a year in advance.
I did, but I don't have a way to prove it, so.
Okay, and how did you pay that year in advance? Because even your $4,000 to $6,000 would not be the whole year.
I know, I paid my year in advance, with my taxes. I have a significant other that also lives in the dwelling as well. We both paid. It's, me, significant other, and, 4 kids and 3 dogs that live in that house.
And so when did your, what's your significant other's name?
Mikael Hentley, MECHAL HENTLEY.
Just one moment. So the two of you, 4 kids and 3 dogs.
Yes, Your Honor.
And at what point did Mr. Sims agree for Mr. Hentley to move in?
December 1st. We all came together. Well, you know, December 1st is when we officially moved in. But September is when we all as a party knew I was coming. December 1st.
You testified that you moved in September.
Right, you asked me when did he okay for Mr. Hentley. I was being precise. When we physically moved in, it was December 1st. When I put down on the paper for DHS when we moved was in September, but I had to put it in advance for my DHS office. But I do have relative documentation of that too. He also had to speak because they thought it was fraud as well in regards to the signature not matching with how the actual form was filled out. So they actually, on top of receiving it, had to speak with him over the phone as well.
Did you have a conversation, Mr. Sims, with anybody from DHS regarding Ms. Daniels living at the property? Did you ever have any conversation with anybody from the DHS regarding Ms. Daniels residing at the property on Mulberry?
We had a gentleman come to the home that was looking for her before she.
Hold on.
Ever moved.
I asked about a phone conversation. It's either yes or no. I can't hear you.
No,
And what gentleman came looking for her at the home?
I don't know his name. I have his picture of the card in my phone. He was looking for her to contact her about items she had submitted.
Okay, ma'am, what is this video that, from the video from October?
The video goes to credibility. The video goes to show, because I don't know if you remember from the last hearing, but he wanted to contest the personal protection order. And it also goes into, you might want to see it following this proceeding because it goes to his character. It goes to what he can see, what he can't see. It goes to what I'm going through. I feel it's very relevant to the case. It gives you ample information.
To be honest, I was hoping that video was going to show me who lived where and when.
No, it's mostly.
I'm moving Mr. Cherniak and Mr. Calvin to breakout room 1. And so here's the issue, ma'am. There needs to be some documentation and some proof of the payments that you have made to Mr. Sims. Whose phone is on? It needs to be completely off.
That's what I'm doing.
Should have been off before you came in the courtroom. Okay.
Yeah. No,
Just a moment. So, Mr. Autumn, for our first place. Okay, so I'm looking at this Defense Exhibit A that's not signed by Ms. Daniels, indicates confidential for settlement purposes only. This is a letter that Ms. Daniels prepared to Mr. Sims referencing October 13th of 2021 agreement, claiming that he breached the agreement because he avoided signing for a lease after his negligence caused an early move-out date.
Yes.
What was that negligence, ma'am?
The house on Balfour, the basement had, a flood. And it kept flooding. He did not want to, receiving, I had to pay him because it wasn't in my name. So I couldn't pay the actual people that were over the house. So as I'm paying him, and there's documentation of that too, he's taking the money and using it for other stuff. We ended up getting evicted because of that. That's what put him into owing me anyways. You see what I'm saying? He kept digging himself in deeper and deeper debt by not following certain rules that the court was appointing to him. Like, hey, if repairs aren't made, they said, put it in escrow, which was the same thing he just went through at Grandma as well. He just won't do it. He feels like.
So don't tell me what he feels like.
Okay.
Gordy, can you just make sure Mr. Carmen joined the breakout room with Mr. Cherniak, please?
But I did have one question here.
What is that?
I did, turn this exhibit into you, and it's from 10/30 of, 2022 in regards to the police report. It didn't make, it confused me, you know, as to, you know, why someone would make this, you know.
It's exhibit E.
Yeah, why someone.
Yes.
Would, yeah, I think so.
Yes.
I'm not sure. 10/30/2022, exhibit E.
Okay.
This one, it didn't make sense why, if those were concerns, why would you turn around and move, you know, me and my whole family into the house 2 months later?
Well, ma'am, you said you moved in September.
I know how it looks. I know how it looks, but I can get that documentation from my DHS worker. I don't have a choice. I have to follow their rules too.
Okay, but ma'am, just because you're filling out the paperwork doesn't mean it's accurate and honest, because I don't think this is honest paperwork. I think there's something going on here.
Which one?
If you're able to pay $1,250 a month in rent, why do you need any assistance from the state?
I didn't get any assistance.
You said for food stamps. Isn't that assistance from the state?
Yeah, I qualify for food stamps. $1,250 with 4 kids. I don't see how that would match on top of me. I've got 4 big kids. It's not just me. You see what I'm saying? So yes, I do still end up, you know, needing help, and with everything the way that it is, I don't think it's cheap on any of us to live.
Does your DHS worker know that your significant other lives there?
Yes.
And where does your significant other work?
Wendy's. They know everything dealing with,
Mr. Sims, when did Mr. Huntley move in?
December 1st. Same day that her and the children came.
You have to be much louder, sir.
The same day that her and the children and the 3 dogs, but she just had another dog.
Honestly, if I would say, that's why I sent out the breach of contract. This was not particularly necessarily an eviction situation. This was more so of, we made an agreement, we had a notary. If he couldn't afford it or didn't want to go through it, we're supposed to go small claims court. Not trying to use the government to kind of, you know, do some of the work for you. And I think that's kind of why it's so discombobulated. This is not a simple, you know, eviction, boom, done, and we're out of there. It's more so of a breach of contract. And instead of him going to court, you know, and us, you know, handling it the correct way, he's painting, I feel like he's demeanoring my character and dragging me into court. The original petition wasn't about he didn't receive any money. The regular petition was just that up in the air. He just didn't have a reason why. He just wanted the property back.
He doesn't have to have a reason. It's his property.
I know. I'm just saying he didn't dispute that. Usually, you know, there's money involved. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't always have to be that way. And so he wanted his property back. He wants you out.
Yeah, that's no problem.
And you're indicating that you shouldn't be out because you paid him a year of rent in advance. And I don't see any proof of that.
I did.
I don't see any proof of that. Stop with your comments and head nodding too, sir.
I can possibly try and get an email from my DHS worker, because even DHS knows it, that I have to show them proof of where any money that's coming.
Whose phone is on in this courtroom? Whose phone is on?
It's on.
Somebody's phone continues to make noise. Everybody check, pull your phones out and check to make sure they're off.
I cut mine off. I just cut mine off.
My question is this. Does this documentation that you don't have with you today state proof of the payments? Not just that you had to pay them. Just because you have to pay them doesn't mean they were paid.
Like, I'm confused by what you mean, like, with DHS, they have.
I'll tell you what I mean. This says, this is what your rental payment is $1,250 a month.
Right.
That doesn't mean you're actually paying it. This is not proof that you actually made the payments.
So that's not proof that I actually made those payments?
Correct. This is just saying this says what the rental payment is supposed to be.
Oh, you don't see where he signed it at all?
This says, yes, he signed it, but he's signing it, this is what the rental payment should be. It doesn't say he's received that amount.
I'm confused because that's exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing to be confused about. This is just information only. What is the resident's monthly shelter responsibility? $1,250, okay? On this exhibit, what do you call this, H, it doesn't say anywhere other than how much is the resident required to pay per month, $1,250. It doesn't say how much has a resident paid per month. It just spells out what you are required to pay. Yes, appears to be his signature. There isn't anything showing that, yes, you in fact paid that amount. That is the proof that this court needs.
What about DHS? Because I don't even think they would be able to do that, seeing how they only have conversations over the phone and.
Ma'am, what you mean?
Like, I don't get to just take that paper and somebody fills it out and sends it in and DHS accepts it.
Yeah.
We have to verify that through him.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
They may have to verify what the amount is, who the landlord is, what utilities are included, what utilities you have to pay.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you're actually paying them.
Well, then maybe we do need to have the investigator come in because that went over with the investigator. He had to explain that because they thought I was committing fraud. Because the way that the paper is filled out, the filled out part is totally different than how the signature looks. And I'm pretty sure you can see that they thought it was fraud. So that guy that was coming out, we had to give him all that information. We had to sit and have that conversation with him. Mr. Sims spoke to him with me and without me.
I understand that.
Validated that information. So I
validated what information?
That I paid him for the full year. And that he actually signed the paper because they did not believe that he actually signed the paper.
Ma'am, when did you pay the year in advance?
I only ended up having to pay.
Hold on. When did you pay the year in advance?
I paid the year in advance, December. I think the second week of December, because that's when he went to Florida. I paid for the trip for him to leave.
You paid for his trip?
Yeah, he left right after December 1st when we moved in, and I paid him. He left and went to Florida.
You paid for his trip and you paid the year in advance?
No. Out of the money for the year in advance, he ended up going to Florida to visit his daughter. And he didn't return until about.
So how much did you pay?
I paid him a total of $10,200 on top of the $25 that I had to put down for the first month's written deposit.
$1,250 per month times 12 months is $15,000.
What'd you say?
$1,250 per month times 12 months, which is 1 year, is $15,000, not $10,200. Even when you add the $2,500 in there, that's $12,700 that was paid.
It was kind of hard because we can't add extra stuff in here. We're even in a breach of contract
What
for.
do you mean you can't add extra stuff in there? What are you
Like,
talking about?
cause you know, this is eviction court, so certain stuff that doesn't pertain to the eviction, I can't like really drag in, but he still owes me money. You see what I'm saying?
No, I don't see what you're saying.
Like
First of all, the way I understand the sugar daddy relationship that you indicated the two of you had, you're saying he now owes you money after the relationship was terminated.
No, that after the relationship was terminated, yes, he did owe me money, but it wasn't because the relationship was terminated. It was because he was suspended from his job for racial comments, and he couldn't afford to stay in the place. And because I was the only one that had money, and he didn't, and he kind of played the guilt trip and manipulation thing. So I helped him out. I did. His daughter came. That's why you see the contract where they gave me.
Yes, in 2021. You didn't even move in until 2022. And I don't even know what month you moved in because your DHS paperwork here shows August. You said September, but then you said December. And then you stated that you paid a year of rent beginning in the second week of December, but you actually moved in there in September. So you lived there for a couple of months rent free?
Pretty much.
Okay, and then you're saying that you paid a year of rent in advance, which totals $12,700, which is less than the $15,000 that should have been paid for the year.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Mr. Ruark had indicated that because there's nothing in writing regarding anything, that the statute of frauds would apply. Because there's nothing in writing and this involves real property, that the statute of frauds would apply.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, Mr. Ruark, would you like to make your argument?
Certain evidence has to be in writing, Your Honor. I think, and they may have revised it since I was in law school 30-some years ago, but at that time it was more than $500 has to be in writing, especially in this case. We have a real estate transaction, and that must be in writing. And none of this is in writing. That's been my contention all along. Anybody can, she doesn't even have a receipt for the cash. And much of what she is saying is irrelevant. Other parts of what she's saying is hearsay. Much of it goes way prior to moving into Mulberry in December, evidently, of 2022. Evidently, my client simply wants his property back so he can pay his mortgage. He wants to fix up the home so he can sell it, pay off his mortgage. And this is not about money or breach of contract. If she has a beef about the $2,500 alleged security deposit, there's a separate Michigan law for that, the Michigan Landlord-Tenant Relationship Act. She can take it up there if she wants to. But this is a simple eviction action, not a demand for possession, a termination of tenancy. We're asking the court to enter a judgment of possession given her the statutory 10 days. I'm in my client's entitled to that.
All right. And your response to that, ma'am?
I don't feel like that's fair. I feel like, also I do still have the video evidence. Like I said, like I've been getting extorted. Like it's not simple. Like
what do you mean extorted?
You'd have to watch the video. The video tells it all. He's heard it too and seen it. Like, and this was recent. Mr. Sims can see. Mr. Sims knows that he signed these documents, and I have the proof on my phone.
Okay, ma'am, I'm not disputing whether or not Mr. Sims signed this document. Okay, the document doesn't tell the court that you in fact paid this amount. It doesn't say that.
Don't have that type of money. That's just not fair.
What type of money don't you have?
The money that I paid him, that's not cheap. That was everything. Everything that I had, everything.
Ma'am.
It's just not right. It's not right to be able to just.
Your testimony was you paid $12,700. Rent for 1 year is $15,000.
Yes, but I didn't have to pay for it. He still owes me for a car that he sold to me that has a lien on it. This is not just simple. That's what I'm saying.
Nothing about the two of you is simple at all. I 1,000% agree with that. Nothing about the two of you is simple.
He's not being truthful. It's just not right.
Neither one of you are being truthful.
I am.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You dated this document August. You were not living there in August. You said you moved in September. You didn't move in until December. Then you said you moved in September, but didn't have to pay until December. So this entire testimony, the court does not have 100% truthful testimony from either one of you. So my job is to weigh the facts as they've been presented. Your testimony, ma'am, was that the video is regarding the reason why you have a PPO.
Yes, and also regards to character. Certain things in the video that I feel you really should listen to and hear, and it'll give you a different outlook. Because I know earlier you said you wanted to know about credibility, and if you were to see and hear this video, would make you look in this court as if you were looking at a totally different person. This is not it. This is crazy.
Ma'am, I have assessed credibility based on what I've heard between the two of you, and you're both equally not extremely credible. There's not a balance one way or tipped on the scale one way or the other. I can tell you that. Mr. Sims, I don't think that you're being 100% truthful either. And I am not going to take the fact that you're unsure or you don't remember as the reasons for all of this. Clearly, you and Ms. Daniels have had an extensive relationship for a number of years. You're claiming that she didn't pay rent at a house that she claims she never lived at. Nobody has proof as to her living in that home. And knowing that she didn't pay rent there, you move her on into your house. And were you living there at the time?
At
Mulberry.
At Mulberry, I've resided there since 2015.
At the time you moved her in December.
Yes, I was living there.
You were living there.
And
so you allowed her significant other, 4 children and 3 dogs to move in?
yeah,
And you were all living together?
yes,
And this is a 2-bedroom condo?
yes.
And so what happened that you wanted her to move out?
Okay, because now, can I continue? She stated that I had been gone the whole month of December, and I left 2 weeks before Christmas and went and visited my daughter in Seattle, who's a traveling nurse. And that I came back the 31st of December for New Year's Eve. We were here, I was here, and it was funny. We all partied and had a good time and that on New Year's Eve and everything. Didn't get up till late New Year's Day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, suffering, feeling bad. So that's why I don't understand when she made this statement about 1-1 that early in the day we had an altercation. There's not a truthful bone in her body. This whole situation has been just a big nightmare. I have not resided at that residence since I came back from Florida, which was February 14th of this year. When I left February the 7th, and I came back February the 14th from Florida, and I have been residing in a hotel since then, other than the time that I went over there to serve her court time. That is it. That is all. It's not about
When did
money,
you-
it's
when-
not about any of that. Period. I just want my property back so I can fix and I also would like to note that the association has a separate eviction of her and her family and her dogs that has nothing to do with me. Per Bree, their attorney at the association.
Yes, ma'am.
That was why I went into the video and the police reports. A copy of that is they're taking me to court stating that I'm a violent person because of the false reports that him and his brother has made. Nothing within the documentation of the condominium has anything to do with me, my kids, or my family doing something that we're not supposed to do. It all is in regards to maintenance issues that clearly no one's been able to contact Mr. Sims about. But in regards to that, then also I received an email yesterday evening asking me not to come to court.
Who sent you the email?
He did.
Did you send her an email asking her not to come to court?
I can't send an email, honey, or ma'am, I can't.
Did you
even
just
work
call me
my-
honey?
I can't even work my phone. I haven't sent an email.
My question was, did you send her an email, yes or no?
No, I did not.
No, ma'am, let me see that email.
I can't send emails, period, because I have an expensive phone. I can't text it.
In fact, actually forward that email, please, to the 27th District Court.
Can I ask his attorney one thing? I am getting ready to send it. Do you have an email for your client at all?
For my client?
Yeah, just to
No,
validate, because
this
he
is the first
said,
I've heard about this email.
I'll send it.
Did you just send it?
No, I cut my phone off when you told us to, so. I'll
Okay.
send it.
All right. And we are going back on the record in the matter of David Sims versus Coriana Daniels. Okay. Mr. Sims, what is your email address?
David Sims 1227 at Gmail.
I'm going to ask you again, sir, did you send,
I have not sent any emails.
did you send, well, let me ask you this question. Do you call Ms. Daniels by any other name?
Maria,
Okay. Did you send Ms. Daniels an email at 7:06 PM last night?
no, I did not.
Can I ask him a question, Your Honor?
I'm sorry?
May I ask him a question?
Yes.
Mr. Sims, does anybody else have access to your email other than you?
Yes.
Who has access to your email?
Coriana Daniels.
How does she have access to it?
Because when she would log in my phone, that I retrieved all my contacts, all my contact information is back in my phone, because she was able to do it.
You haven't changed your password or anything?
I just recently changed it, I changed my Gmail password back in February. I thought that doesn't work.
Okay. So you changed your Gmail password, so Ms. Daniels does not have your Gmail password anymore? No. Okay, so, because I see where you're going with that.
Right. I can't.
Yes, nice try, sir, because this was emailed last night. And if she doesn't have your password, she couldn't have gone in to email it for you to herself.
I can't send an email, so it's not a nice try. I can't send an email, I can't send an email. My email
Is your client's phone on, counsel?
Your phone on?
No, it's not.
No.
Turn it on, please. And you're saying you can't send an email?
No, because I can't compose. I can't seem to compose an email. I don't know how
What do you mean you don't know how to open it? So you can't see out of either one of your eyes?
Everything is a blur, Your Honor, from my stroke.
Okay.
I can't, even if I hold it up to my feet, I can't read it. I can't tell you what it says.
Do you have glasses that help assist you? Let me please
It's a brain,
finish.
it's from my brain from the stroke.
Let me please finish my question. So how did you get here today?
A friend of mine brought me.
And who was that?
Mr. Pasquale. Sure. I worked with him for 28 years.
Yes, counsel?
I got his emails up. It looks like that is trying to work and get some more recent ones out.
I can't get it.
I can't hear what you're saying,
Share
sir.
it on the board.
I'm sorry?
We got to share it on the board.
Well, can you go under sent emails, please?
Gmail box, inbox, okay, right here. There was an email sent last night, the Apple mail sent this email to penny stocks evidently. And before that, the last email sent before that was September the 30th, 21. Actually, the email I just, for these penny stocks was from June 2022. Again, I'll be glad to let the court review the email.
There's nothing sent in 2023?
I see nothing after June 7th unless it's called downloading. The thing's still going around, it needs to be downloaded.
Oh, okay.
Your Honor, it's evidently downloading, I think.
Okay. So the court will take judicial notice that it was observing Mr. Sims pointing and directing you on the phone as to what you should be pushing.
That's correct.
Yes, so it tells the court that he can see something. So this email reads, please don't do this, Maria. I will tell the judge what I did. Please, I will pay you back. I just went to sell the property and move. I apologize for threatening you and the kids. I was not trying to take your money, Maria. First of all, Mr. Sims, there's a PPO that's in place, so that could be a problem. But second of all, asking somebody to not do whatever it is you're asking that person not to do right before court is not appropriate.
Your Honor, if we see that it did, like I said, my phone is hacked all the time. If it did come from my phone, it was a hack. I didn't send it. I didn't send an email. And I will bet that on my daughter's life. I did not send an email.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know which one of you two to believe. Yes, ma'am.
So someone hacked this phone, knew about our court date today, and knew that I was involved in it, knew my email and emailed me.
I know what you're saying. What I gather he's indicating is that you're the one that hacked into his phone and sent yourself an email. That's where I think that he's going. Let me see that video.
Win with the situation.
Ma'am, please stop. The two of you have been in a situation for a number of years. And now this court has to determine what's actually happening here.
Before she pushes. You want to hear it in writing.
I don't, I can't, she can't. Hold on, I need it to.
And now you're talking about live people. You're wrong to be live people when I come up with it. Like, what's wrong with you? That's a
Hold on, just one moment. I'm trying to.
That's a crime.
Hold on.
How is it a secret tag? I said, good. I said, what do you think he would do if I went back and told him that you were and threw pop on me? He would want to beat your ass. Who wouldn't?
Okay, did you throw pop on her at any point? Was there some time that you threw pop on her?
We were in the car and I had bring the pop and I might have, what you don't see, you can't control. You can't, things happen, guys. I'm not gonna lie, things don't happen. I don't consider throwing pop or whatever being assault. I don't consider that.
Your Honor, just for the record, Your Honor, I would object to the relevance because it was, I think, last October sometime that the conversation took place.
Okay, and your objection is noted, counsel, but I need to get a better understanding of
That's actually
these individuals. Yes, ma'am?
that video is from December 12th. That's actually of 2022. It's actually just fairly recent.
Hold on, December 12th.
Yes,
Exhibit G. Okay.
And now since you just sat here and heard that lady say that nobody has the right to put their hands on you under no circumstances, now you sitting here looking crazy because I recorded it. Now you want to beg, please. Bubble. Did I not let that go? Did I not let that go? Didn't I sweep it under the rug and let it go?
Yeah, but
Okay, what happened next? Your brother turned around and did the exact same thing. Yeah, still the killer.
Just one moment. What is it that, Mr. Sims' daughter called the police and stated?
She called the police, and stated that, she needed some type of a welfare check on her dad, and that, we were trying to keep his car.
Okay. What was it that Mr. Sims' brother called the police and stated?
That's the police report I stated. They said that, we were threatening to physically harm him. We were trying to extort him. I was trying to extort him out of money. Basically, he feared for his safety.
Okay.
Now you want me, so that's what you want me to do. You want me to just keep it up? Just because I live there and you uncomfortable does not mean right to treat me like that. Police is sending you to jail for something you did. That's what I mean, but you didn't throw it. It was right here. That's what I mean. You were. That direction. But somehow the hand that was right here mixed with you getting the popping up. It don't trust me. Shit, don't nobody deserve this. I'm spending money every day to make sure you comfortable, everybody got their stuff they need, everybody good, all of that. I don't even come out of the room. Mimi don't come out of the room. The only people we allow to come out of the room is the fucking kids. Like nothing is good enough. Nothing is good enough for you. Nothing. Nothing at all. I'm not in that house making you uncomfortable. My baby daddy's not in that house making you feel uncomfortable. It's you. It's you.
I'm just Mr. Miserable.
I'm kind of all my time, all my gas, to get the fuck out of here. I wasted all my time, all my gas, the shit that I was doing. It's always looking down to you. Literally, every bad day I had is up under you. How can I? You haven't had a car for dumbass shit. That's what I mean. No one trying to do it. Like you had nothing to do with why we continue today. It was just all my fault. It's always all I had to do. What could you have to do?
Not fucking record, not piss me off.
What?
I already apologized. Damn, how many times do I have to apologize? But you just won't let it go. That whole escalation back there in that fucking thing, and they're recording shit. You do that shit to push people's buttons. Damn, I can't just keep fucking down.
Yeah, I'm a pussy on this, on that.
Yeah, I ain't a big fucking pussy. I'm a big emotional fucking wreck for you.
I don't feel so.
Of course you don't.
You're emotional. Racist or
Racist, you don't give a fuck.
No, I don't.
Don't give a fuck about the charge. Yeah, you can put me in jail.
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
Yeah.
That's vindictive.
You can't put somebody in jail for something they didn't do.
Damn
So
vindictive.
maybe you should do a little self-reflection.
How can I do
You
self-reflection?
can't put nobody in jail for something they didn't do.
No, according to you, I fucking stand on you. I thought I was going
I said you can't send somebody, it's not, I didn't say. I was going to police and telling them to beat. That's the difference, that's what I mean. Assault is assault, but it's
No, assault is assault. If you go to jail for assault,
I know that.
it's like if you just tap like that, that could be a form of assault. If I don't even if you go, like you see people where they go like that, they go, ow.
So basically, you're saying that you knew you were committing that assault. You just did. You felt like I was going to sweep it under the rug and let you get away with it. That's why you're going to jail.
That's what I mean. I just said,
If you could break down to me what the fuck is assault means, then that means when you did what you did, you knew what you were doing was wrong. Period. And I'm going to sweep every fucking thing that y'all doing. Never run, that shit stops today. You're going to jail, so ain't no point in talking about it.
Why am I going to jail? If we just sat here and
I didn't agree to anything. But I don't know, so maybe you're not hearing.
no, because your ass wanted money, and I said, there's no money to give you.
No, I told you I didn't want it, but that's recorded too.
Yeah. You'd rather just send me to jail on some bullshit. I don't get you, friend. I don't understand it. No, you're addicted. I don't act on any shit I don't call the mob boys.
What is there for you to act on? The mob boys? Anybody can call some people they know to rough somebody up or to hurt them.
It would be that type of shit. That's why I don't fuck with them, because if I call them, it's not gonna be pretty. It's gonna be ugly. Goddamn, I try not to go there.
Now I feel like my life is
No, I don't want to fucking be there. Don't do that shit. No,
Yeah, don't even worry about it.
no, but you threaten me all the time about.
I didn't threaten you about nothing they are talking about. Okay.
No. Just want to be left the fuck alone till I get on my fucking plane and go.
Okay.
Hell, see, I still gotta go home and come back. I can do that. Lord knows I don't want to have to ask you.
I don't care what you said. I said what I was saying.
Yeah, I know, you gotta call the fuck along. Instead of just fucking saying, okay, cool.
I haven't said, okay, cool, quite a few times.
Okay, then there should be no calling the law. You should be going home.
No, there should be calling the law. If I didn't let y'all slide quite a few fucking times, there shouldn't be no more
But you
new
just
times
said-
to fucking
you
switch
just
under
said
the
a
rug.
minute ago,
I didn't
you
say
said
not
you don't
one.
have that-
Yeah.
You don't-
No,
You ain't done nothing.
you did. Keeping it under the rug. I'm calling
I
the
said,
police.
hey, let it go.
No, that's your problem. You don't listen. I said I had swept everything else under the rug. That is what I said. Why do you think it keeps happening?
No, it doesn't.
What is the meds that you were talking about? in
I
this?
take 6 to 8 meds a day for
Okay.
my stroke and everything. I blood pressure, cholesterol, and things, or otherwise I'll.
Okay. And let me just finish this, ma'am.
It keeps happening because you're not getting consequences for it. That's why it keeps happening.
Yeah, you want.
You go to jail. You understand? Damn, maybe
That's what addicted.
okay. Makes you feel comfortable when you go to jail for what you did.
I don't want to go to jail. That's what I have to tell.
Nobody wants to go to jail.
Then don't send me to jail. Well, yeah, you should.
Is there anything else on this video? Or is it just back and forth about that?
Just that,
Okay.
just that. Because I don't know if it's relevant, him trying to pay me to, not call the police, but that's about it towards the end of the day.
How much longer is the video?
Sure. If you can click it, it should say.
The lady told me
Before I ever.
Do you mind if I approach you?
You've been fucking stuck your finger in it.
No, I didn't. I had my hands just like this. I said, stop putting your hands. What were you doing? You can't hit me.
There's still another 5.5 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
Stop hitting.
It's up to you, it's still the same ramble, but that's just an oversight, because I know you got other cases. That's just a little bit of the oversight of the incident that took place December 12th of 2022, which is what arose all of this.
What were the two of you doing in the car together? Door dashing? Is that yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you both door dashing or did you just hop in for the ride?
I ride because she's door dashing under my name, because she can't get hired by door dashing because she's found.
So let me get this straight, Mr. Sims. You're indicating that you have
Don't drive.
paid all this money over a number of years to Miss Daniels. You have provided her with housing, which you're indicating she hasn't paid rent or was behind in rent at some point. You move her significant other, 4 children and 3 dogs in to where you live in a 2-bedroom condo, and then you're claiming that you're uncomfortable with the situation, but then you allow her to DoorDash under your name
In my car,
in your car.
at the time.
Why do you continue that?
I don't continue that anymore because my cars went back and I'm done, because I'm done. I'm done with the whole situation. Because I never received a dime of that DoorDash money. It went into her chime account.
And I'm going to regret asking this question because I'm going to get 2 different answers. Was there an agreement as to how the DoorDash money would be split up since you were using his name and his car for DoorDashing?
It wasn't until,
Hold on, stop. You said no. Was there an agreement?
I had no idea because I can't see how much money was made every day.
No, I didn't ask if you knew how much.
No,
money
there
was-
was no agreement.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm actually surprised that we have the same answer for that one. So here's what the court has to decide. Whether or not Mr. Sims, or I'm sorry, whether or not Ms. Daniels has a legal right to remain in the property because she's paid for a year of rent in advance. And whether or not Mr. Sims has the right to have her removed from the property and all others, as it's indicated. And the court, after hearing lengthy testimony from both individuals, hearing arguments from counsel regarding the statute of frauds, reviewing the exhibits, specifically the exhibits from Ms. Daniels, what's a glaring piece of information that is missing is the proof of payment for the year in advance of rent. I don't discount that's a lot of money. What I will also note is that the amount that you indicated was paid is less than what the 1-year amount would be. Even adding in the $2,500 security deposit that you're testifying you paid, that Mr. Sims is testifying he never received, nor did you ever pay it. What the court will also note is that this paperwork that you're indicating with Exhibit H that was filled out, number 1, doesn't even appear as though that would be the proper paperwork for the purpose that you stated it was for. I'm not an employee nor a member of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, but that, I know AFC is adult foster care and independent living, are individuals that are within that type of assistance, but they have independent living where they're overseen and checked in on time to time, as well as the designation for a shelter. It also asks for a facility. Mr. Sims does not operate a facility that I'm aware of. It's not registered as such with the city from anything that I have received or not received. Just 1 moment, ma'am. And the name of a facility is left blank. Mr. Sims' signature appears to be the same as the signature from 2021 on the notary document, which is Exhibit B. And I know Ms. Daniels is referring to a breach of contract, presumably because Mr. Sims didn't sign for a new lease, which seems to be the reason why she's indicated that they're in the situation they're in based on the recording. The court will also note that Ms. Sims In addition to the date of August of 2022 being the date that she was residing at the property on that document, Ms. Daniels testified that she moved in September of 2022, but then testified that they all moved in December of 2022. Further testified that the rent payment was for a year beginning in December, which if she did move in September would suggest that there were 3 months of rent that she didn't have to pay. But again, this is involving real estate, real property. There isn't anything in writing. There isn't, even if there was not a lease, a written lease, and there was a rental payment, the court would have some basis by which there are additional requirements that would have to be determined. We don't have that. The only documentation that we have is your statement on that MDHHS form that indicates what your rental amount is that you're required to pay. I don't have anything before this court that's presented that you have in fact paid that amount of money. Even if you had paid your rent and it wasn't paid the whole year in advance, Mr. Sims, as it's his property, still has the right to have you leave. Further convoluting the situation is that now you have filed for a personal protection order, which does not allow Mr. Sims to be in his own home. The court is going to grant a judgment in favor of Mr. Sims that he may have the property returned to his possession. And any other additional money that's claimed to be owed between the parties, you'll have to handle that in a separate action. Yes, ma'am.
Will you be able to have more than 10 days?
What is it that you're requesting?
I just need a little bit more time than that to at least.
What does a little bit more time mean to you?
I mean, I get paid every 2 weeks, so I didn't expect none of this. And a lot of people that are helping me didn't expect this outcome. So at least time to at least get at least 2 checks and, you know, work on doing that. I had to pay for the repairs in there, so I'm literally tapped out completely. There's no kitchen, there's nothing in there, so it's no point in sending a plumber, but the condominium has already started the repairs. The whole
I remember the video from last week.
Exactly, the whole thing's broken down, so it's like I understand like
Yeah,
money
my
buys.
question is, how much extra time over the 10 days are you requesting?
So we have another 10 days. I get paid in 2 weeks.
So you're at 20 days.
Right, so.
Mr. Ruark, your response to that?
No objection to that, yeah. Ms. Daniels waives the right to any post-judgment relief, waives the right to set aside the judgment, waives the right to appeals. If she does that, I have no objection to the 10 days.
So I'm going to allow the two of you to have a conversation outside. You can contact who you need to contact if you have questions about what all that means. I can't give you legal advice, ma'am. So I will have the two of you out in the lobby, and you can discuss that additional time, okay? And then we will recall this matter. Okay. All right, we are going back on the record in the matter of David Sims versus Coriana Daniels, all the documents, 23601. And appearance, counsel?
Ron Ruark, Your Honor, for the plaintiff.
Thank you. And ma'am, your name, please.
Coriana Daniels.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the court has already indicated that the court is going to enter a judgment that the plaintiff is entitled to recover the possession of property. And then there was a request by Ms. Daniels to allow some additional time. Counsel indicated that he was willing to consider that with some concessions by Ms. Daniels. And so Ms. Daniels and Mr. Ruark went out into the hallway. The And, there's been a resolution as to that.
Keeping in mind, of course, Ms. Daniels is not represented by counsel today. We have agreed that we give her 10 additional days until the 27th to vacate. In exchange for her waiver of any post-judgment relief, which would include a motion to set aside the judgment of possession. It would include a motion to set aside the eviction. It would include a motion for a new trial. It would include any appeal to the Third Circuit or any subsequent appellate court. Again, Ms. Daniels is not represented by counsel, so she can talk to counsel all she wants. I would never take that right from anybody, but she's still waiving these rights.
Okay,
If she's okay with that, then we'll give her the 10 extra days.
okay. And Ms. Daniels, you do understand you do have the right to have counsel, right?
Yeah, you
Not
gotta scare me,
a-
you made me feel like I shouldn't agree.
No, ma'am, we're making a record,
Okay.
right? Just to make sure that you understand all of that, okay?
I believe
And that you do
Supervisor
have,
doesn't want me to bring this case back in. Has nothing to do with outside cases, right?
She's correct, Your Honor. If there's going to be a small claims court or a civil case for security deposits or breach of
Okay.
contract,
Okay.
this has nothing to do with
Okay,
that.
just as long as I don't bring back this eviction, I get it.
yes, and so, and you do understand, you do have the right to have legal representation, not representation appointed by the court. You understand you have that right?
Yes.
And that you've waived that right and you've represented yourself and quite well, I will add. And so, you understand all of that.
Yes.
Okay. And you understand as well that Mr. Ruark represents Mr. Sims and not your interests.
Correct.
Okay. And you understand what it is that you are agreeing to waive for you to stay an additional 10 days.
Yes.
Okay. And just for the record purposes, I want to know what is it that you understand you are waiving so that you can stay an additional 10 days?
I'm waiving my right to bring up any appeals regarding the eviction process, reaching up, I believe, to higher courts in regard to this matter as well, reaching out to courts to set aside your judgment on this matter, I believe. And that's it, right?
That's it? Did she miss anything?
She's not represented by counsel. She understands that and has freely and willingly given up these rights.
Yeah.
Has anybody threatened you or coerced you in any way for that?
No,
No.
he's just making me seem like maybe there's something that I kind of really don't know. Maybe I should get a lawyer, but it's okay.
Okay, no, and actually you stated everything, you restated everything accurately that
Okay.
I understood Mr. Ruark stated that the two of you had agreed upon in the hallway.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I have no surprises, Your Honor. I mean, sometimes a tenant will try to bring a motion to set
Oh,
aside a
okay.
judgment or to set aside an order of eviction.
correct.
And to appeal it. Those are the primary rights that she would be giving up.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay, all right, so the court will indicate that by consent, then, or after trial, that the plaintiff has a right to recover possession of the property. There is no amount due right now. The court will also indicate that by consent, the parties have agreed for Ms. Daniels and all other occupants to relocate by June 27th. If you have not relocated by that date, then Mr. Sims may apply to the court for an order of eviction. Okay?
I thought that's what this was.
I'm sorry, well, this was a trial to determine whether or not there would be a judgment granted to Mr. Sims.
Okay,
If you do not move out by June 27th, then the next step to physically have your belongings removed would occur. Okay? All right. Do you have any questions?
no, ma'am, not at this moment. I appreciate your help.
Anything else, Mr. Ruark?
Nothing else, Your Honor, for me or for Mr. Sims.
Okay. Mr. Sims, you still cannot go back to the home at this point, and obviously, Mr. Ruark, if the PPO prevents Mr. Sims from being at the home, even after Ms. Daniels relocates, that's a whole nother situation
I'll make sure I understand.
that has to be dealt with somewhere else. Counsel, if you can prepare that judgment And in fact, if you want to stop at the window, you can ask my landlord tenant clerk for a blank judgment if you'd like. Oh, okay, and then, so if you'd like to fill it out and you and Ms. Daniels can both sign it, then I will sign that after that. Okay, and then you can actually have a copy of that before you leave.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, good luck to you both. All right, thank you. All right,